Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show. And welcome to a Saturday stream. Good to see you. Glad to have you. Whatever day it is, whatever time it is, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I hope that the weekend is treating you well. Again, whether it's Saturday or Sunday for you, I hope you guys are doing outstanding as we ride into the weekend. Again, good to see you guys. Glad that you could come out and join us, and hopefully you guys are ready for some hot mech on mech action. And clearly some of you are very ready for that mech on mech action, based on the support that you guys are throwing out here at the very beginning of the stream. Before you've even seen my face, you guys are out here going ham with the support. But we are going to get into Mechwarrior 5 yet again today, continuing our modded career. Last time around, for those of you that maybe missed last week's stream, we went through the Dragon's Gambit DLC, and I'm pretty sure that we finished that up. Well, at least we got through the narrative portion of that DLC, and we got a lot of good mechs, we got a lot of money, but we didn't get a lot of freedom in terms of where we were allowed to go and what we were allowed to do. And so at the end of last stream, I promised you guys, because we got a cargo hold full of mechs that we've been meaning to put back together. We now have over 100 million C-bills, and I told you guys we were going to spend the beginning part of this stream in the mech bay, in an industrial zone, putting those mechs back together and trying to commit the best mech bay heresy that we can, with the tools and the funds at our disposal before we start getting stuck in to something new here in the inner sphere today. But without further ado, let's say we get out of the office and we get onto the bridge. Get this party started, chat. Let's get into it. So yeah, here we are again, back in the Leopard, right here on Trolloc Prime, which is where the fuck you, boss, we love you. Well, fuck you too. Yes, now, first of all, and second of all, thank you. I cannot describe the feeling of knowing that, you know, there are people out there that look forward to this stream every week. That look forward to hanging out with this community, that look forward to, you know, just hanging out and relaxing a little bit while we get into some mech bay action every week. It's a really weird feeling, but it's a really encouraging feeling. It's a good feeling to know that the streams and this community mean so much to you guys. So, you know, I don't know how to feel about it sometimes, but as always, I may not deserve your support, but I will do my best to earn it all the same. So thank you guys for being here. But yeah, so we are here in Trolloc Prime, which is where the Dragon's Gambit DLC wrapped up when we finished it. And we are free. We are officially free. We are out from under the yoke of the DCMS and the coordinator. But at the same time, we now have almost 130 million C-bills to our name. And of course, as I described, we have not only the mechs that we've been using regularly, but we got a whole lot of mechs in cold storage here. You know, we have the Corsair that we got that we still have to put back together. We have the Banshee that I've told you guys for the longest time we were actually going to put together and try to do some heresy with. We still got the Marauder 2 that got blown up. We still have to put that back together. We've got T-Bolts. We've got Victors. We've got a Partridge in a Pear Tree. We've got so many mechs to put back together. And we've finally got the money and the time to do that now that we're no longer under contract. So to begin the stream, let's head to the star map. Let's find ourselves an industrial zone, and we will get to that. So it looks like the closest industrial zone is going to be in Steiner's space. But sadly, Steiner is not terribly fond of us. since we spent the entire Dragon's Gambit DLC beating the crap out of them. So I think what we'll do instead is head down to Davian, because they are currently the faction that we have the best reputation with. So I think we'll head down there into one of their industrial zones, and let's actually head down here, and maybe we'll find some hero mechs and things like that. So let's get underway so that we can get the Mech Bay heresy started, chat. And man, you guys are, before I can even get done with my intro, before I can even get done with my intro. So let's see. We got EW gifting another sub, this time to Goblin Love. Goblin Love, welcome to the cult of bad tactical decisions, where we have only one flavor of Kool-Aid, but it is Ecto Cooler. And for the record, I do also love short stack goblins. I don't know if that's the kind of goblin love that you're talking about, but I love short stack goblins. And also EW, thank you for that gift sub. Again, you do not have to do that, but I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And then EW themselves going ahead and redeeming for the Put Me In boss. So EW, of course, you know, there is a waiting list, and I'm sorry, I'm probably going to break my neck here as I look down at my notebook. But I will add you to the list, EW, and if and when we get around to putting more people into the game, we will put you in there as well. Again, I'm not really hiring that many new pilots this playthrough, but there will always be new playthroughs, not only of Mechwarrior 5, but of course, BTA and things like that as well. Hold on, let me unbreak my neck here. Like I said, the software does not like it when I write in my notebook. There we go. There we go. And then we've got Fool gifting 2 subs to the community as well for Wasteland Wanderer 1216 and Han Cholo 55. First of all, welcome back, Han Cholo. Been a while since we've seen you, and Wasteland Wanderer as well. Be sure to thank Fool for the insane generosity and the gift subs, and of course, welcome both of you to the cult of bad tactical decisions. We hope you enjoy your stay. And then we got Tribal Typhoon gifted a sub, this time to Arcos Rin. Again, good to see you again, Arcos Rin. Thanks for joining us on a Saturday. And Vio Player as well with 5 gifted subs. Why are you guys doing this to me? Why are you guys doing this to me? Do you want to just gift me subs all day and we won't even play Mechwarrior? We'll just sit here and you guys can give. Don't do that. Please don't do that. It's a joke. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Don't do that. But thank you again to Tribal Typhoon and Vio Player, EW, and Fool for all those gifted subs. Again, you guys are too generous. Please, please be less generous. But thank you once again for the insane generosity. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it, but I'll do what I can to earn it. And right at the tail end of all the mushy stuff, here comes Erst resubscribing for a 9th month, saying, "Hail Maria, well, hail Erst, and welcome to the stream on a Saturday. We're glad to have you before the before the Arma op kicks off today, that I know you guys will be getting to." And EW with another 5 gifted subs right on the back of it as well. EW, please stop spending your money. I don't want you to be poor. You guys are gonna put yourselves in the poorhouse trying to support me. Don't make me feel bad about that. But anyway, good to see you guys, and thank you once again for the gift subs and for the resubscriptions, for the Bezos bucks, for all the insane generosity, and Erst. God damn it, Erst. With 5 more gift subs again. Thank you, Erst, for the massive generosity and the massive chicken. Again, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. Why you do this to me? Why you do this to me? Erst says, I make a decent amount of money. Well, I used to make a decent amount of money, but we've talked about that. But I appreciate you guys. Again, you are helping keep the lights on, and again, supporting me, supporting the channel, supporting this community, and I appreciate that. I really do. Again, I will do my best to earn that support, to earn that blind devotion. Well, maybe it's not blind, but you get the idea. Again, I appreciate that. I really, really do. But let's see. Let's see. If you guys are done, slapping folks in the face with gift subs. Now that we're here in an industrial zone, let's head back to the star map and see. Maybe we'll get lucky. And that's exactly what I was looking for. There you go, chat. I was hoping we'd find at least one hero mech out here, and it looks like we did. So let's head to the Fomalhaut system, and we'll check it out. We will check it out. Hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully it's a good one, but you never know. Sadly, we have found some real stinkers during this career, so hopefully this one, I'm hoping for the pretty baby. I'm hoping for the pretty baby. Sadly, the game does not agree. The game does not agree. Although I know somebody who's going to be very, very excited about this one. And we have a hero hatchet man. So let's see, what do we got? We got mech info. This is the Man-at-Arms Hatchet Man. The Hatchet Man that would be known as Man-at-Arms began life as one of the models the Lyran Commonwealth sent to the Federated Suns prior to the Fourth Succession War. It initially served with the 2nd NAIS Cadet Cadre, where it received a number of refits and experimental equipment, including the newly rediscovered LBX-10 autocannon. In 3038, it was transferred to the Federated Suns unit McKinnon's company, the Fox Teeth, and was assigned to veteran Mechwarrior Austin Vorster. This was a substantial upgrade to the old STG-3R Stinger he had inherited from his late father. So yeah, we got ourselves an LBX-10 Hatchet Man. That's a hell of a thing. I mean, it's only 5 million C-bills. I feel like we kind of have to buy it. I mean, of course, you know how I am, chat. With the hero mechs, we gotta catch them all. So I'm gonna buy it. And we'll see what kind of heresy we can commit with this thing. In addition, for only 9 million C-bills, they have another Atlas. And this one's actually in pretty good condition. It's the Atlas D. So, I mean, it's just got some armor damage, really. Like, this is really good for only 8.5 million C-bills. I feel like with as much money as we currently have, I would be a fool, an actual idiot, to not buy this Atlas. So let's do it. Let's buy a second Atlas, chat. Let's be on our way to making Steiner Scout Squad. As if we didn't have enough mechs. But you can always have more mechs, chat. You can always have more mechs. So, first of all, let's get the Hatchet Man in cold storage. Let's get this new Atlas in cold storage as well. Actually, that's the old Atlas. This is the new Atlas. So we're just trying to clean up the mech bay here. So number one, we did have some damage on these mechs. We did lose some weapon systems. It was a little bit of a rough mission. So let's go ahead and get these mechs put back together for starters. And the 1G, let's see. Oof, we lost the large laser on that one, but we should have a replacement. You know, make a Steiner recon lance? Yeah. No, we're definitely working on it. Do you usually hear voices telling you to burn things when you trinket too? I mean, are we talking about the leprechaun? Is that the leprechaun from The Simpsons? Only proper Steiner Scout Lance is for commandos. No. Unacceptable. The only true Steiner Scout Squad is 4 Atlases, preferably with as many AC-20s as you can fit in. But let's see. Let's repair this thing. And sadly, we do not have a tier 1 large laser, but I know we have other large lasers that we can stick in there. To be fair, we're actually running a little low on decent large lasers. But just for funsies, I'll go ahead and put in a tier 3. I think it's about time, especially with some of our larger assault mechs. I think it's about time we start looking at like upping the tier of the weapons that we're using on these guys. Because and somebody had mentioned this on the YouTubes, um, as well as in the Discord. I think it was Pugs Hunter that actually asked me in the Discord why it is that I continue to use such low tier equipment in the mechs, and my response to that was, I'm kind of just stupid, and even though I know that I should upgrade this stuff, I just don't. But yeah, so I'm remembering to tell you this, as you said you do it on Discord. Remember to upgrade your weapon. Well, there you go. See, I wasn't even paying attention, but Sierra immediately brought that up as well to make sure that I'm upgrading the equipment. So that's what I'm gonna try to do for the mechs that we're working on. I'm not gonna do it for every single mech, but I am, as we start working on different mechs, I will try to remember to upgrade the equipment. So we'll do that with the first Battle Master here, the 1G that we need to put back together. Let us get into this next one as well. Again, we sadly lost some more equipment, but we'll go ahead and we'll drop out that large laser and we will put in another tier 3. The machine gun, that one we do not have a tier 1 to replace it, but we do have a tier 2, so we'll go ahead and do that. Sadly, we don't have a lot in the way of machine guns, but maybe the market does. Let's have a look. No, actually, but they do have an ultra. Wow, they have. Chat, this is why I love industrial hubs. Look at all of this. We gotta go look at the market real quick. Hold on a second. Let's get this mech put back together first of all. Do we have any short bursts, medium short bursts anyway, that are better than the current ones that we have in this machine? We actually do. We have some tier 3s. So let's upgrade these puppies to tier 3s. And again, the upgraded tiers on these weapons will just make them hit a little harder, will make the heat management a little better. I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. I put in a medium pulse laser. My mistake. Alright, there we go. We'll get that refit underway. There we go. That gets those put back together. Now, let's have a look at the king crab here. Because I don't know that we've got another set of burst fire. Oh, no, we do. Okay, outstanding. So, let's see what we can do here. Do we have some higher tier SRMs that we can cram into this thing? I bet we do. And let's see. Do that. I'm gonna do my best here, chat. I'm gonna do my best. So we'll put in, we might as well just put in the tier 5s, right? Like at some point we're gonna have to use them, so let's use them now. And then we'll put in this tier 3. Do we have any higher tier AC5 bursts? That's the question. Let me see. We do in fact have some higher tiers. So let's go with some tier 5s. And then we'll put in some tier 3s as well. And all of that together will make this thing hit significantly harder. So let's go ahead and we will start the work on that. Again, we're already burning through the money. But this is the cost of running. This is the cost of running a high quality assault mech outfit here. So we're already putting the Atlas back together. This is the one that we just bought, so we'll go ahead and leave that where it is. Now, as far as mechs that we want to rebuild, well, first of all, let's get these Zeus mechs into cold storage for the time being. And I kind of want to cold storage the crabs, but at the same time, they have upgrades, and if I put them in cold storage, it's going to strip those upgrades, which I do not want to do. So I think, in terms of what we need to start working on right away, we got to put the basilisk back together. That's one of the hero victors that we got. We do have a 9B victor, but this one is just like a regular victor. We got to put the Marauder 2 back together. I think we also got to pull the regular Marauders out of cold storage and get those rebuilt. Or at least get them put back together. And then I know we said we were going to see what we can do with the Frankenmech, the Corsair. And let's see, we got a 1S Battlemaster to put together, maybe. And then, of course, we have the Banshee. I promised you guys Banshee Heresy. So we'll look at Banshee Heresy. Sound check. Yep. There it is, like always. There we go. Again, we're in the mech bay, so it's relatively quiet, but thank you guys for catching me on my sound check. That's what happens when y'all go ham with all the support at the beginning of the stream. It gets me all flustered, and then, like, I forget to do important things like turn the game sound on. So I'm blaming you guys for this. It's not that I'm just an idiot. It's your fault. You guys did that. But let's see. What else do we have that we want to work on? I mean, we have the money to work on pretty much everything. Let's see. Do we want to... I kind of want to just strip this Victor. So I think we'll put that on the... I think we'll put that on the card as well. We'll strip that Victor and get it out of here. This T-Bolt and this T-Bolt I kind of want to put back together just so we've got some midline fighters. Same story with this Zeus. I told you before. Yeah, well, no. I mean, technically, Urs, you didn't make me stupid. I was already stupid. You just... You made my stupid act up. That's all it is. But I want to try to put as much stuff back together as we can. So let's go ahead and get these T-bolts. I'll put those back together because we don't have a whole lot of medium or light mechs that we can lean on for easier or lower tier missions. So I think getting some T-bolts put back together would be a good compromise. We'll look at that. We still have the Wolverine as well. And then what else? Okay, how about this? Chat? I'm gonna let you guys make a decision. Because we've already got a lot of work ahead of us. But I'm gonna put one treat in here. And I'm gonna let you guys decide what that treat is gonna be. So, right now, here at the very beginning, let's go ahead and do a poll. Alright? And the poll is gonna be which of a selection of mechs you guys actually want me to put together. So here's what I'm thinking. We got some hero mechs that we can work on. We also have a couple of mechs that we got as rewards from this quest line, right? So, I'm thinking, and again, I'll put up the poll here in just a second, but I'm thinking we either do the Mauler, which is a 90-ton assault. It's already pretty good as it is, but we can Mech Bay Heresy the shit out of this thing. We do the Hatamoto, again, another 80-ton assault, but we can Mech Bay the Heresy out of this shit. And then I want to give you guys one more option. So what's another good mech that we could potentially put some work into? I'm only going to do one out of these three, but I want to let you guys decide which of the three we do. Let's see. Decisions, chat. I mean, I guess in keeping with the theme, maybe we do the Kintaro, right? Since all three of these are from Draconis space, we might as well just... We'll make it a theme. So... Let's see. Go ahead and get this put together, and we'll do the three choices, and then I will let you guys decide which one we're gonna heresy the shit out of. There we go. It's gonna be 2 minutes. 2 minutes on the poll, chat. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'll go ahead and give you guys 5 minutes. We got a lot of people in chat already, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes to make your decision about which one of these we're gonna work on. So if you do not see the poll, refresh your stream, and it should be at the top of the chat window. And while you guys are voting, we'll go ahead and get started on putting some of these other mechs back together. Because, as you can clearly see, some of these marauders got the shit beat out of them. So I want to go ahead and try to get those put back together. The only problem is we're primarily using large lasers with these marauders, and I don't think that we're going to have enough large lasers to replace them. I will do my best. I will do my best. So that's one put back together. We're going to kind of piecemeal this as best we can. This one is going to be the one that's a little bit tough. But that's okay. That's okay. We can make it work. I think we got just enough. In fact, let's have a look at the market and see, because we do have some ER short burst large lasers. We got some tier 0s. You know, I don't normally go for the tier 0 stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and buy these, because if we're going to be burning through large lasers on our big boys, then I want to make sure that we've actually got the lasers to support that. Let's see. What else? What else? Hey, boss, do you have any stalkers in storage? I don't think we do. I don't think we do, cannon fodder. I know that we've come across a few stalkers over the course of this career, and mostly we just... like, we would grab them and salvage just so we can sell them. But let's see. Now that we've actually put some money into the large lasers, let's go ahead and repair what we can. And then we'll see what we can do. Because I'm not gonna lie, chat. They're only tier 0, and I know I said I was gonna, you know, start upgrading some of the tiers on this stuff. But I'm thinking that these ER large short burst lasers might actually be fun to play around with. But for right now, we'll just rebuild this one as originally intended. And I'm actually going to swap these tier 0s out for tier 1s, and then we'll see about potentially upgrading them as well. But that'll get Mad Squad put back together. And again, we got a lot of work to do. We haven't even gotten to the heresy yet. We're just repairing some of this stuff. You're right, Erst. We can do that. So let me actually look at that. Let me see what we can do as far as upgrading. Because I normally try to go through this on a pretty regular basis and upgrade any of the tier 0 equipment, but maybe we need to start looking at upgrading from like tier 1 to tier 2 on all of our stuff. So let's see, we have some AC-10s. Let's go ahead and upgrade those to tier 2. And then I think that's it. That's all of the stuff that we can upgrade currently. I mean, we could upgrade some other stuff to like really high tier stuff. Maybe that's a thing to do. I mean, it wouldn't be the dumbest thing I've ever done. Like, sheer with the medium lasers, I feel like that's a must, right? Because we have so much Frank's Red Hot. There we go. And I don't know if I want to upgrade. I mean, tier 5 medium lasers are great, but we're only going to get 2 of them because we need 6 for each upgrade. So that's going to be a pretty costly upgrade. Should also apply structure and armor upgrades to those marauders. If you're talking about like Indo and Pharaoh, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. We don't actually have that much Indo and Pharaoh though. So I want to save those for, like, the mechs that we're going to be doing the real heresy on. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, you're talking about normal upgrades. I got you. The only reason that I wouldn't do that with the upgrade system is just because, again, I'm probably going to be pulling those in and out of cold storage. And I don't want to... like... hero mechs and other big hitters, I don't mind upgrading because I'm not going to put those in cold storage, but with the Marauders, I probably will. And as soon as I put them in cold storage, it's just going to strip all those upgrades. And Mate rolling in on a Saturday. Good to see you, Mate. Hopefully the weekend is treating you well. Does any plans today for another game? Not that I don't enjoy you stopping Big Mex, but wondering what else you're playing now. At least do it for the Mad 2. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely on the cards, Ernst. I will absolutely be upgrading the Marauder too. But to answer your question, Mate, as always, that kind of depends on what chat wants to do. So, speaking of, and we'll revisit this at the BRB and see what you guys want to do. But I did mention on the Discord recently a new game that just got its demo during the Steam Next Fest, a game called Granvir, which is another mech combat game. So I did download the demo and I played it a little bit, and it is actually a lot of fun. So when we get to the BRB, I'll tell you what, we'll do a vote during the BRB, and I'll see if you guys want to do that instead. And maybe on the second half of the stream, we can play through that demo a little bit, and you guys can see what that's all about, because it's a lot of fun. Like, for just what is essentially a tech demo that's very work in progress, it is really, really good, chat. So, yeah. But anyway, as for the folks that are saying Mechwarrior Online, nah, I'm not gonna play Mechwarrior Online. And that's mostly because I'm not a huge fan of competitive multiplayer games anyway. I'm not a meta chaser, and I don't like, you know, any kind of competitive game usually just boils down to a bunch of sweat lords doing whatever the most meta thing is. I'm just not into that. But yeah, Mechwarrior Online, probably not, but there are other games that we can play. If you guys don't want to play Mechwarrior 5, or if you want to mix it up a little bit, we can always do that. But as I always say, like, I'm here to play the games that you guys want to play. So if you guys want to see something different, we can do something different. But we'll burn that bridge when we get there. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. Info Guy says Battletech 2018 is pretty good. It's funny you should mention that, Info Guy, because we actually played through a campaign of BTA about 6 months ago, and that was a very long-running campaign. So I am aware of and do thoroughly enjoy Battletech 2018 and a lot of the big mod packs. But anyway, let's get back in here. So we got this Zeus. This is another one that I think we'll just probably put back together and throw it into cold storage. Again, the default loadout on a Zeus is actually really good. So let me see. We're gonna have to redo things a little bit here. But let's throw in an AC5 burst fire. The LRMs will leave as they are. I'm gonna swap out this small pulse laser for a medium laser instead. And then we've got 2 tons to play with. Oh, well, we got another small pulse laser. I'll replace that with a medium as well. So what are we missing, chat? Where do those other 2 tons go, is my question. Is it engine heat sinks? Is that what it is? Are there a couple of heat sinks in the engine? Is that where the other 2 ones? Ah, yeah. So we already got an ER short burst large. We put some medium lasers in there. We replaced the rapid fire AC5 with a burst fire AC5. We're going to leave the LRMs as they are. But I think this is a good setup. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Again, we're having to kind of rebuild this machine from scratch because it got blown up. But a Zeus is a good mech. Zeus is a good mech. Cannon Fodder says, be back later, going to get my haircut. Well, hopefully you have a good haircut, Cannon Fodder. And if they mess up your hair, just remember, it's only hair. It'll grow back. Need a piece of advice. Doing Kestrel and on Sarna Part 6, I'm 120 tons under. How are my chances? Slan-chan, it really depends on you. And what mechs you're bringing. Because the tonnage is... The tonnage is a good indicator of your combat ability, But at the same time, if you build your mechs right, you can go in under ton and still win. We've done that many, many times. So I would say, without knowing what you're taking into the mission, I would say your chances are 50-50. There's too many variables there. Too many variables. But let's see. So that's some Vazoos put back together. With this Victor, again, I think we're just going to strip it and sell it. I originally intended to potentially put this back together and try to build a whole squad of Victors, but I don't think it's worth it. Because we've already got a good stable of mechs here. So with the T-Bolt, this thing is in shambles. But it still has its engine core, so let's see what we can do with this T-Bolt. Player pilots set AI or mechs count for 3 times as much tonnage. Yeah, as long as they know how to play the game. This is true. This is true. If you're playing with humans, you will find that your odds significantly increase. But I think we're going to do the same. Sorry, Chad. I think we're going to do the same thing with this T-Bolt that we've been doing with most of the rest of them. And that is to essentially turn this thing into a medium laser boat with a larger engine. So I think typically we've been putting 300 engine cores into the T-Bolts. And you know what? Because we have so many of them, I'm even going to put in some double heat sinks here. But let's have a look, since we just got done putting together so many medium lasers and upgrading them. Let's go ahead and fill this puppy up with some tier 3s. There we go. We'll do that. And then the question is, do I put a large laser in the arm? I don't think we do. I think we just put 2 more medium lasers in it. And then, just to be real big buttholes, we go and throw in an SRM-6. Although, to be fair, we don't use enough long-range missiles. Maybe it's time we did something about that. An LRM-10 is running 5 tons. So we could potentially throw in an LRM-10. And if we reduce the armor just a little bit, we could potentially put in, you know, I don't think that's a great idea now that I think about it. Because we're already going to have heat dissipation issues. So I think we go with the SRM instead, just because that's going to give us the ability to put in more heat sinks, which I think we're desperately going to need. So we'll put in a Stream SRM-6 launcher. We need at least 1 bin of ammo, maybe 2. So ammo goes in the feet. You guys know the rules. So we'll give them 2 bins of ammo. And then let's max out the armor, and that's going to be just a little bit shy of what we need. And we'll stick in 1 more heat sink. There we go. Put in the SRM-6 Inferno. You know what? We haven't been using those. I think now's a good time. Why not? We've only got 1, but god damn it, let's use it. Let's put it in there. There we go. So that'll give us basically a medium laser boat. But again, we're putting the 300 engine in this thing, so it's going to be a little faster than your typical T-Bolt. We're moving it, you know, almost 10 kph faster than what a typical Thunderbolt is going to be doing. So we'll do it. We'll do it. Sell that tier 5 medium chem laser. Yeah. Well, I mean, my hate for chem lasers is well established at this point. Alright, let's go ahead and put that T-Bolt together. And then we got 1 more. This is one that we've actually run previously. Unfortunately, we're out of machine guns. I don't think we have anymore, so we'll have to look at something else for the ballistics on this. Unfortunately, the problem with that is I'm not entirely sure we can actually put in its place. Place MGs with an Ultra AC2. I mean, I would if we had one, but we've only got Ultra AC5s. Chad, did we do something really dumb? Let's do something really dumb, chat. How about that? Put in a burst fire light rifle. I don't even know what that... I don't understand how that's supposed to work. Yeah, apparently there are burst rifles now. This is news to me. I didn't even realize we had them. Oh yes, absolutely, Sierra. Something can be both dumb and successful. An idea's success does not in any way affect how smart or not smart it is. Yeah, screw it. I mean, why not? Let's go ahead and we'll do a light burst fire rifle on a Thunderbolt. It's stupid, but it's the right kind of stupid. Alright, so that gets most of the minor repairs out of the way. Now we're gonna get into the real heresy. So let's start out with Frankenmech. And oh yeah, by the way, I did not miss that. I did see you guys voted for the Hatamoto as the weeb mech that we're gonna heresy this shit out of. So let's go ahead and get that pulled out of cold storage, and we'll add that to the list. But let's start out with the Corsair here, Frankenmech. And good God, this thing really is a Frankenmech. Look at this thing. We got an AC-20, we got a heavy rifle, LRM-10, large chem lasers. We got more heavy... Oh, well, there's your problem. They put all the heavy rifle ammo in the torso. Alright, let's... You know what? Let's just go ahead and strip this whole thing down. I meant to hit strip mech, not strip armor. But let's go ahead and strip this whole thing down. We'll go ahead and max the armor to start out with, and then I'll do the usual joint of balancing out the armor a little bit, so that we've got a nice square number on the tonnage. Smart Stupid always works out. Built a Mauler for a friend that used 4 light rifles, LRMs, and lasers. I like it. I like it. I do like rifles. So let's see. I forget, chat. What is the default engine core on a Corsair? I probably should have looked at that before we yanked it out of there, huh? Let's cram a 285 in there and see what it does. Because we don't have a lot of intermediate engine cores. That's gonna make it 48 kph. I think we're gonna need something bigger than that. I mean, if we're gonna go Frankenmech, do we go full Frankenmech? Throw a 400 in there? Let's take the gloves off, chat. We haven't done real, honest to God mech bay heresy yet. Let's take the fucking gloves off. Let's see. On this mech, we're gonna save more by using endo, so we'll put in endo. Alright. Alright. That gives us almost 40 tons to spend on weapons and ammunition. Alright. Alright. So we got ballistic hardpoints on both arms. We've got a ballistic hardpoint in the torso. We got missiles. We got energy everywhere. The center torso has got missile hard points, but we've only got 2 slots. And I think the only thing that we'd be able to put in there is either an LRM-5 or an SRM-2. So even though I said I would probably never use an SRM-2, I think we just found the one time where that's not true. Let's see. In terms of ballistics, what are we going to do with this? Because we got a lot of choices with ballistics. Actually, hold on a second. Hold on a second, chat. Let me back out. Don't worry, we're going to come back to this. We're going to come back to this. Hold on a second. Sorry about that, chat. I had something going on. I felt like I needed to cough really badly. That's my bad. Anyway, we will return to this heresy, but the first thing I wanted to do was get in here because, man, we have got just... Well, I'm gonna buy one of those. I didn't even know hammers were a thing. But there's like so much really good equipment here that we could potentially get our hands on. So I think we're just going to go on a spending spree here and buy up as much as we can. Because like we got Ultra AC5s. I'm going to buy all 4 of these so that we can upgrade some of them. Again, I know we're burning money, but what the hell's the point of having all this money if we're not going to spend it on anything? You can't take it with you, chat. But like a lot of this stuff is tier 0, so we're gonna have to put in work to actually get this stuff upgraded. So we'll take some burst fires here. I'll always take more AC-20s. Yep. I'll take an AC-10 burst fire as well. Let's have a look at the equipment. And Troubleshooter gifting 5 subs to the community. Thank you so much, Troubleshooter, for the massive generosity and the massive chicken. And for all those, including El Toxic Dog and Claude Rebel and Lebanon, all names that I recognize. Welcome back to the cult of bad tactical decisions. And again, thank you, Troubleshooter, for the generosity. Be sure to thank Troubleshooter if you got a gifted sub. Because again, they do not have to do that. But be sure to thank them for that generosity. And again, thank you, Troubleshooter. But let's have a look at the equipment, because we got engine cores that we can buy. We got double heat sinks that we can buy. I'm always going to buy up double bins of ammo because they're very, very good. Let me see. FCS ballistic. I'll buy some FCSs. We haven't really played with any of this stuff. We'll definitely take some agility gyros. We'll take some light rifle double bins. Might as well take some narc ammo as well. Ultra AC5 ammo. Again, we're spending all the money, chat. And then let's have a look at some engine cores. Because like I was saying, we don't really have any intermediate range engine cores. So pretty much from like 300 to 400, we don't have a lot of cores. So I think we'll buy some 325s. We'll buy a 350. And I'll buy a couple of 375s as well. And that's going to be very, very expensive. But it will give us some larger engine cores that we can play around with. Rapid fire rifles can be fun. Slap a pair on a Corsair and watch the hilarity ensue. We might just do that. But there we go. There we go. We bought up some of that equipment. Let's have a look here. Doesn't look like much else. I mean, we got armor primitive, but that just adds weight and doesn't, like, it doesn't really... It's not great. It's not great. But now that we bought up some equipment, let's get back in here and let's start the real heresy on this Corsair. So we'll repair everything, we'll strip all the equipment, and let's begin where we left off with a 400 XL engine, some endo. And I mean, if we're gonna go that way with it, we might as well go with the double heatsink kit. Throw in some doubles in the engine core. Although I feel like it's a waste because I don't think we're gonna need 6 double heatsinks. Because this is gonna be mostly missile and ballistic based. But let's see. Again, we'll cram in some SRM2 Infernos. What else? What else? We don't have any more SRM6 Infernos. But I could throw in an SRM4. And we could just go all Inferno SRMs for our missile hardpoints. You know what? Now that you mention it, Erst, you are not wrong. Those are actually one critical slot as well, so we can put in both. I'll put those in there. And then we'll put one in the right torso as well. There we go. There we go. That's 12 Inferno SRMs. Let's see. As for the energy weapons, I mean, I think by default we go with Frank's Red Hot, but we could do PPCs, we could do large lasers. But let's look at the ballistics first, because the president is going to have to equip his daughter with ballistics. So let's see what we're going to do with this first. So currently we have about 30 tons to play with. And that gives us a lot of options. A Gauss would be great, but that's 15 tons a pop. AC-20 is 14 tons, so I don't think that's going to be a great fit either. Although we could put one. We could put in an AC-20 burst fire, kind of like they had with the original design. Let's see. What else could we do here? Instead of the AC-20s, we could go with some LVXs. What do you think, chat? And we don't even necessarily have to, we don't have to link up the ballistics either. We could do some really dumb shit. We could say, hey, you know what? Let's just put in 3 light rifles. They'll be very slow firing. But it'll give us some long-range firepower with those light rifles. But that's essentially that's essentially a AC-2, sadly. Or hear me out. Ultra AC-5s. Do we have enough to do 3? Not quite. Not quite. I was hoping we'd have... I mean, we could still do it. We just have to pull out the SRMs. So I don't think that's the move either. But again, we can mix and match our weapon systems here. We don't have to tie ourselves to links on the weapon systems. So maybe... I'm thinking, Chad, I'm thinking. Like, I'm trying to go through what we have, and I'm trying to figure out what we actually want to do. So maybe we go light rifles in the arms. And if we're going to use light rifles for that damage, throw a tier 5 Gauss in there. You guys are still thinking we go with the Ultra AC-5s? Okay, let's see if we can do that. I don't think that's gonna work though. They're very heavy. I'll go with the tier 2s for now. Yeah, that's gonna be too heavy. Alright, so if we drop the Gauss, that gives us 10 more tons to play with. And we don't even necessarily have to put... We don't have to put anything in that ballistic hard point, but you know me, Chad. I'm a shooter. I like to shoot. So maybe we ignore that ballistic hard point and instead we look at what we can do with energy weapons. Because we could, with this much tonnage, we have 10 tons to play with. We could cram PPC in here. Or we could go with something a little more traditional. Like some large lasers. And no, I'm not going to use chem lasers. The problem is, we still have to put in ammo for the autocannons and the SRMs. So I think what we do here is we cram one PPC in there to give us a little bit of energy weapons. And then 3 tons of ammo. I mean, I don't know if 3 tons of ammo is going to be enough, to be honest. We could go with double bends. 2 double bends of Ultra AC5 ammo, but that's gonna way too much. Yeah. I don't know, Chet, this just doesn't feel heretical enough to me. I feel like we could do more with this. But let's see, if we're gonna do that... SRM ammo in the head. Don't you fucking tempt me, because I'll do it. You know I will. Fuck it, I'll do it. Let me see. I'm trying to think of how to do this because, again, we already know the issue with the XL engine. If I put ammo in the side torso and that ammo bin gets critted, it's going to take the engine with it. We're going to lose the whole mech. So we don't want to do that. $320 rounds. 12 missiles at a time. I mean, I think that's probably good enough, right? It's 200 rounds and 200 rounds. I mean, that'll give us a lot of room for engagement. Because it's basically 1 double bin per Ultra AC5. And then that allows us to do something like this. Put in a couple of medium pulse lasers, and then we'll throw in 1 more double heatsink. What is the Privateer Court? Weapon heat generation down, missile projectile speed up, and missile cooldown modifier down. And then, of course, hero armor bonus. What do we think about this, chat? It's not quite as heretical as I would like it to be. But we've got Inferno SRMs, medium pulse lasers, Ultra AC5s. Only 26 volleys. On the missiles? Well, shit. Maybe we do need more ammo then. Can you fit the Pharaoh? That's a good question. Let's see. It looks like we're only going to get about 2 tons with the Pharaoh, but we don't have enough free slots, sadly. Alright. It's okay, chat. All is not lost. All is not lost. Just thinking here. I mean, this thing's already heavy on missiles. So I think we go FCS missile. And we double down on the missiles. Fuck it. YOLO. YOLO, chat. And then we'll do that. We drop the pulse lasers. And we put in more SRM ammo. Is there such a thing as a double bin of SRM ammo? Does not appear to be the case. Disappointing. Disappointing for a whole bunch of different reasons. If we're gonna do that, though, I might as well go ahead and put in the improved sensors as well. So maybe we do another bin of SRM ammo. And then we got 2 more tons to play with. So maybe instead of medium pulse lasers, we just put in regular medium lasers. Again, Frank's Red Hot, put that shit on everything. How about that? So let's see, with the Ultra AC-20, or the Ultra AC-5, I'm sorry. This is where I have the question of when we're firing the Ultra AC-5, like for example, if we fire we fire once and it's gonna fire 1 round, or is it like the burst fire where it fires once but we actually get 5 rounds or however many? Because that's the real question. If it's 1 shot per pull of the trigger, then that Ultra AC-5 ammo is going to go really fast. And I'm not 100% clear on how it actually works. Click once for 1 round. Okay, if that's the case, then we definitely need more ammo. Okay, so we drop the medium lasers. We put in more ammo. That's that decision made then. Unfortunately, we don't have any more double bins, so we're just gonna have to make do with regular bins. There we go. What do we think, Chad? Is this an acceptable level of heresy? Move the 3rd bin up here. And stick this in the foot. Alright, we can do that. We can do that. I think Urs just enjoys the idea of the pilot sitting on a bin of ammo. I think that's all that is. Alright, chat says let's do it. 3 million C-bills and a Franken mech. With a 400 engine. So, FYI, this 95-ton mech is going to be going almost 70 kph. Let's make it happen. Alright, so that's 1 bit of Mech Bay heresy down. I think next up on the docket is gonna be the Banshee. So I promised you guys Banshee Heresy. I've been talking about Banshee Heresy, so let's look at some Banshee Heresy. So the default loadout is pretty underwhelming, as a Banshee tends to be, with basically just a PPC, an AC5, and a big-ass engine. Now, it's a 95-ton platform, and it has a lot of hard points. If we downgrade the engine and make it a little slower, we can actually make this thing hit pretty hard. But let's put something in that tonnage range. Instead of a 380, if we put a 375 in there. Yeah, so this is basically a 68 kph machine by default. And again, the Banshee is not a very good mech. We know this. The reason that I promised you guys Banshee Heresy is specifically because it's not a great mech, but I want to see if we can make it into one. So how about, instead of a 380, we put in a 350, right? We make it just a little lighter on the engine, which will give us more tonnage to play with. But I want you to look at this, chat. We have, in the torsos, nothing in the arms, but in the torsos, we have 4 ballistic hardpoints and 3 energy hardpoints. And of course, 1 energy hardpoint in the head. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? That's the question. How do we balance this out? You know what? Maybe this is a good opportunity for Pharaoh. What's our weight savings on Pharaoh? We're only saving 2 tons. Alright. Do we throw some endo in this puppy as well? Nah. See, Erst has the right of it. Erst has the right of it. He knows what I'm thinking. I mean, we got these light rifles. What the hell else are we gonna do with them? I'll throw a tier 4 in there too. I don't give a fuck. So that's 4 light rifles. And we got the double bins. We do have the double bins to support them. So put in a couple of double bins of ammo. And then, let's see, with no heat sinks in this thing. With no heat sinks. Let's see what else we can do with it. Let's see what else we can do with it. Why you gotta do this to me? Mechwarrior. Alright, if we get rid of the Pharaoh, there we go. That balances out the armor. Do we then do something like that? Now let me see. Agility versus torso twist. Chet, I've never used the Banshee in Mechwarrior 5. How is its turning radius? Like, which is gonna be the better gyro to put in? Do we want turn speed and acceleration? Or do we want torso twist? That's the question. Unironically, the 3E Banshee is a great artillery tractor. Well, it would be if artillery worked like you expect artillery to in yet another mech lab, which it does not, we found out last stream. Torso twist, says Erst. Alright. We'll put in a flexibility gyro. And again, these don't weigh anything, so it doesn't hurt us to put that in here. I mean, obviously we're gonna put in a ballistic FCS if we're using 4 light rifles. That's gonna give us less spread and better projectile speed, which is definitely gonna help with the rifles. Let's see. We're going to... I'll go ahead. We'll throw some double heat sinks in here. Sure. I mean, if we're going to use PPCs, we're going to need double heat sinks. And then I can throw in 1 single heat sink in the head, I guess. Is this better or worse? Is this better or worse than the design as previously intended? I mean, I'm open to suggestions. What do we do to improve this? I mean, we've got 4 light rifles. We've got the ballistic FCS in it. We could potentially trade out the PPCs for large lasers instead. We might be able to fit 3 large lasers in for the tonnage of the 2 PPCs. Let's see, so the PPCs, if we put in 2, that's 14 tons. If we replace those PPCs with large lasers and we did 3 of them, I believe that's 15 tons. So we would basically lose the single heat sink, and we would instead swap them out for doubles. 4 flamers. I mean, that would be very funny, but it also, I feel like it wouldn't work very well because this is a slower Banshee. Like, if I was putting a 400 engine in this Banshee, then I would be like, yeah, let's go with the flamers. Take some armor off of the arms. Doesn't actually give us that much in tonnage, sadly. But maybe it gives us enough. Maybe it gives us enough. And then we just armor it up again. Basically, get that armor back as much as we can. I worry about the cooling on that, though. Although I guess we could use another double heatsink kit to further improve the cooling. The question is, do we need the double heatsink kit? So if we go here, our alpha heat is basically 30. And our heat capacity is 50. So we can go 1 alpha strike without overheating. And we're only going to be cooling 2 heat per second. Now, if I throw in the double heatsink kit, or... I'm sorry. Oh, it's 3 critical slots. Okay, my mistake. My mistake. So that's just going to give us 2 by default. So we're cooling 2 heat per second. Two heat per second. Is it worth it to throw in the heatsink kit? I tell you what, let's go without it for now. Let's go without it for now. Because we've only got 2 kits left, and we do have some more heresy to perform. So we'll do it without it for now, and then if we find ourselves in a situation where we're constantly overheating, then I'll consider putting a kit in it. Assuming this thing doesn't just immediately get cored the very first time we take it out. Alright, there we go. 3 million C-bills to get the Banshee back up to speed. And maybe it'll actually be useful. As opposed to whichever faction it was that was fielding it. I think it was Steiner. Can we just repair this thing? Like, I'm good with the MAD 2 as it was. Like, there wasn't anything wrong with it, we just got unlucky. Sadly, there are no 300 cores that we can buy, and we do not have any. What's the closest facsimile? I think the best we can do is either a 325 or a 285. So maybe we go with a 325. That's going to put us a little bit over, so we'll just drop some heat sinks. Man, we're having to drop quite a bit of armor here. Makes me nervous. Alright, so that gets it back up where we want it. Again, because we have so many heat sinks, we could just, like, throw some of these in here. Throw a few in the torso. I mean, this is a very basic bitch design. Let's do this. Let's do this. Throw in some double heat sinks in the engine. I think we can do more with this. It's a Marauder 2. It deserves better. It deserves better. We can do better, chat. We can do better. I will max out the armor, and actually, maxing out the armor is almost even. So, with a 325, we're going 52 kph. That's not bad for a 100-ton mech. Erst says she deserves PPCs. I am inclined to agree. I am inclined to agree. What do you say we start there? What do you say we start there? We're not going to be using a lot of our crit space. So let's throw in Indo and Pharaoh. Which, actually, I think that'll give us our 2 points of armor back. And that still gives us 16 tons to play with. Which, I mean, we could just throw in a bunch of heat sinks. My dad is having fun with his adrenaline junkie friends hang gliding in Greifenberg, Austria this weekend. I'd be there too, but I have work on Monday. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Mate. But hopefully your dad's having a good time. You know, it's one of those Gotta have the good times while you can, that kind of thing. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about the ERPPCs that we've been getting our hands on. Because it's the same weight. It's the same weight. Look at that alpha heat, though, chat. Look at that. That's almost 60 alpha heat. All right. If we were going to use a double heatsink kit, it's got to be here, right? That's right. You can't put doubles in the feet. I forgot. And we're all out of critical slots. We're all out of critical slots. So we drop the Pharaoh. $5 tons. And then because of the crits, I guess we'll just put in some single heat sinks down here. Put them in the feet. And then we'll drop a couple of doubles. Alright, chat. What do we think about this? This is a 5 PPC monster. Keep the doubles instead. Alright, we can do that. I mean, we're probably gonna need it. We are probably gonna need it. And that is pretty much all the critical slots that we have available. Because this is the Marauder 2, though, I'm also going to do upgrades on this. So not only are we going to go with this design as it is, I'm also going to put a bunch of stuff into this, like upgrades-wise, to bring that heat capacity, or bring the heat generation down and the heat capacity up. So we're not done with the Marauder 2. We are not done with it. What do we get in terms of other things? I was hoping that we had like an FCS for energy, but we do not. But I'll throw in improved sensors, and because this is an assault mech, we'll go ahead and put in a flexibility gyro as well. Give ourselves a little faster turn speed. I mean, Erst, you're not incorrect. We could call it Mjolnir. Cause motherfuckers gonna be riding the lightning when we take this thing out on the field. Alright. What do we think? Do we go with this, chat? At least for now? It's a very expensive refit. Again, we're spending almost $3.5 million, and that's before we do upgrades. If anybody's got an objection, speak now or forever hold your peace. Alright, here we go. Now that's the Marauder 2. The Basilisk. So here's the thing about the Basilisk. I don't hate the Basilisk. In fact, I like it quite a bit. You know, it's not a terrible mech. The only problem with the Basilisk is the same problem that Victors have in general. And if you don't know what that problem is, it's the problem that got this thing blown up in the first place, which is, for an assault mech, the Victor has very weak side torsos, which makes it a poor candidate for XL engines. In terms of armor, the Victor has very low armor on its side torsos. So I don't know that running the XL in this thing is going to be the best decision. Sierra says, gonna have to hop off. Some stuff's going on. I'll be alright, but probably won't be around for a minute. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Sierra, but hopefully things work out. I mean, if you got things going on, go take care of those things. But again, as always, thanks for showing up. Thanks for hanging out, and hopefully the weekend will continue to treat you well. And we will catch you on the next one, or whenever we catch you. Don't be a stranger. Let's see. As for engines, we got a 320. We'll stick in a 325. We'll drop the case. I think we dropped the XL engine, if I'm being honest. I think, at least as far as the Basilisk is concerned, I think maybe now's a good time to kind of go back to the drawing board with this and see what we could do with it. So we're gonna save 1.5 tons with Pharaoh. We save 4 tons with Endo. So let's stick in some Endo. Yeah, this is true. This is true. I mean, like I said, Urs, that's exactly why I wanted to do this now, because I knew it was going to be very expensive. Remember, we started with we started with almost 130 million C-bills. We've spent almost half of that already, and we're not done yet. So this is why I wanted to take this opportunity to do a lot of this work, because I knew we were going to spend a lot of money. And Hawkeye coming in on a Saturday. Good to see you, Hawkeye. First time chatter says, thanks for the gift sub. To EWYW. Yeah, EW was going ham earlier with the gift sub, so welcome to the Cult and Untactical Decisions, Hawkeye, and we are glad to see you. Hopefully you're having an outstanding Saturday, and if not, hopefully you'll be a little better now that you're here. Thought you started with 100. Now, we started with about 130. It was 127 and change, I believe, so we were pretty close to 130. Alright, so we got 2 ballistic hard points. I mean, part of me wants to just... Like, can we do double Gauss? Not enough slots? Well, fuck you too. I guess... Yeah, definitely not enough for AC-20s. So maybe instead of the LB axes... we use some of these AC-10 bursts. We can't do that either. I remember we tried this, and the LBX is just a little bit smaller. Just a little bit smaller. I mean, we had the LBX cluster and the solid. The problem is they're all pretty low tier. And we have 1 tier 5, but I would have to upgrade the others. Maybe we go here with some AC-5s, because we're using pairs of AC-5 burst fires on, shit, these are rapid fires. Never mind. But we're using pairs of AC-5 burst fires on the King Crab, and it's actually pretty good. I mean, we're using 4 of them. Here we would only be using 2. But they're still pretty damn good. Maybe. I mean, what's the practical downside to basically turning this into another version of the Dragon Slayer? I think this is the thing, though, is the Basilisk is specifically geared towards LBXs. So I think no matter what we do, we kind of have to focus on the LBX 10s, because that's kind of what it's made for. I mean, I guess we put in the clusters just to make it a little simpler. But I think ultimately, like, we build the mech around this idea. The only issue with that is, without the XL engine, we don't have a whole lot of additional weight to play with. Like, that's... And this is the problem with the Basilisk in general. With the Basilisk Victor in general, because it's a Victor, it has weak side torso armor. That's a problem. Like, the side torsos have as much armor as the legs. That should not be the case. The arms have almost as much armor as the side torsos. That should not be the case. But the problem is, this design doesn't work without an XL engine. Or at least, it's not as effective as it could be without an XL engine. Because we still have to put ammo in here, right? Like, we still need LBX ammo. So even there, we've only got 3 tons to play with. I mean, I could drop the double heatsink kit, because we're only running some LBXs. But, like, our options are pretty limited in terms of what we can do with this design. We do have modular armor to add more, but we don't currently have any modular armor. So this is my concern with this particular design, is how do we make it effective beyond just a couple of LBX 10s? I mean, I can put some medium lasers in it, sure. But the medium lasers, I mean, we could even go medium pulse lasers and drop some armor, but like, with medium lasers, though, the issue that we immediately run into is they just don't hit very hard. Like, we're getting the majority of your damage from the LBX 10. So I don't know, chat. What do you think? Do we double down on the dumb and put an XL engine in this thing and just hope that we don't lose it again? Or, god damn it, chat, hold on. Sorry about that, chat. You know how it is. You know how it is. What are we thinking about this? I mean, we're basically looking at 3 bins of ammo for 3 SRMs. Get a couple of medium lasers to balance out the damage. We could put case in this thing, but like, I don't even really see the point. I mean, it's mostly just to eat up the space, if I'm being honest, because like, we don't really have anything else that's half a ton. I wouldn't know what else to do with that half a ton of weight. The only other thing we could do is potentially put in another heat sink just randomly and drop some armor to compensate for that, but I mean, you say emotional support medium lasers, but if you put these medium lasers in an arm, they actually, 2 of them together would work really, really well to take out VTOLs. You can just saw those things in half. I wish I had some half bins of ammo. I would do that, but we don't really have any half bins of ammo either. I mean, it's not the best work I've ever done. I'm not super happy with this design. What's the damage of a tier 5 medium laser? Damage is 6.5 or 1.7 per second. Yeah, 13 combined. I mean, that's the best you're gonna get out of a regular medium laser. Yeah, I mean, so what do you think, chat? We still have the Hatamoto that we need to go through. I'm actually okay because I'm not super thrilled with the Basilisk by default. And like Ernst had mentioned earlier, like just to strip out the equipment and get this thing put back together is going to cost us like $3.5 million. We're spending almost $5.5 million for this. And I'm not gonna lie, this is not worth $5.5 million C-bills. Like, we have the money to spend. At the end of the day, we're not gonna bankrupt ourselves with this. But like, this mech, this design, what we're getting here is not worth $5.5 million C-bills, in my opinion. Am I the only one that thinks that? Well, and that's the thing, Snoopy. Like, we played with the LBX-10 and it was fun, but like I said, the problem with the Basilisks specifically is that its perk kind of forces you, because it has the Basilisk perk, it kind of forces you to use LBXs. The problem with that is that you've only got ballistic hardpoints in the right arm, which means in order to maximize your damage potential, you have to use 2 LBX-10s. The problem with that is that if you put 2 LBX-10s in this thing, then you have to put in an XL engine because you can't really put in any other weapon systems otherwise. And that leads into the next problem, which is, as I said before, the side torso armor on a Victor is pretty weak anyway. And even with the hero armor buff, it doesn't really make up for the fact that the side torsos on a Victor just get blown up very, very easy. So like a Victor is a tough mech to make good under normal circumstances, but the way this one in particular is set up, like it seems like it's a good design, but it really isn't. And I think, you know, when you look at the description of this thing, I feel like that's kind of the intent, right? They talk about how, you know, oh, the original pilot thought that it was badass that his mech was named after, you know, this mythical beast, but in reality it earned that name because, you know, it was kind of a snake and it was not as good as it seemed. And I feel like that's kind of the whole point of this design. Like, it seems like it would be good with 2 LBX-10s, but then when you look at it along with the rest of the mech, it really isn't that good. Yeah, I think I agree. I think this thing's not really worth the trouble. So I think we'll go ahead and cancel. I'm going to... I mean, there's not really anything useful on this thing aside from the LBXs. Just about everything else got blown up. So we will pull the useful equipment out of it, and then I'm just gonna put this thing in cold storage, and we'll just retire it. As much as I hate to say that. I know everybody says sell it, but the reason I don't sell hero mechs is because if you sell them, they can show up again. So by keeping it in cold storage, I'm keeping it out of the pool so that we will not run into it in the future. But we'll go ahead and do the work on that, and then that just leaves us with this baby right here. The Hatamoto. And not just the Hatamoto, this is the special one that you get for the Dragon's Gambit. It's got the fancy flag thing on the back. It's got, you know, the interesting designs on the side, your lucky cat here. You've got the gold all over the place, and then you got the angry Oni mouth here, like this thing. This thing. Speaking of ramen, Tribal Typhoon, we were just talking about getting into the Hatamoto here. So let's get into the loadout and see what we can do with it. So it already comes with an XL and a bunch of double heat sinks by default. And honestly, I don't hate this. Like, the only thing that I would do is probably drop 1 heatsink in order to put in a little bit more armor. Or honestly, I mean, they're putting in 6 bins of ammo for only 2 SRM6s. I think we drop 2 bins of ammo. We max the armor. Let's see, we'll do that, we'll do that. We'll do that. And then that gives us 1 more ton to play with. Oh, Jesus. Like, why so much ammo for only 2 SRM launchers? I don't understand. I don't understand why they're putting in so much SRM ammo for only 2 launchers. And yeah, we do have extra laser hardpoints. We have energy hardpoints on the arms. So we could potentially either double up on the SRMs, or we could double up on the energy. So we got 7 tons for a PPC. We got 2.5 tons to play with, so... Let's see. You know what? They're not as high tier, but we could put in some ERPPCs. So the ERPPC is doing 15.75 at tier 2. The tier 4 is actually doing more damage, so I think we go with the tier 4. We could also go with PPCXs. We know the PPCX is good. The Hatamoto is just a beefed up charger. It is, in fact. Can't cut the stupid fucking oath. Look here, Erst. We've already had this discussion. I like the Hanamoto. I think it's cool. So fuck you and the horse you rode in on, alright? We're not cutting the stupid hand dealies off of it. That's what makes it cool. But I think we do go with the tier 4 PPCs. The ERs have a little more range and everything, but the tier 4s are going to be doing more damage. Do we instead do this? Throw in the Artemis. And then we've got a half a ton to play with. That's what she said. Do we then maybe just throw in some small laser? Question mark? Like, I don't know what to do. I always have this problem where I don't know what to do with a half ton. Like, what do I do with... We have a half ton of ammo, right? Well, we don't have a half ton of Artemis ammo is the problem. Well, that's butt cheeks. Yeah, as much as I would love to put on an assault katana or any kind of katana on this thing, it doesn't have the melee slots for it, sadly. I mean, if I max out the armor, technically it's not going to call that underweight. And this isn't the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's basically just a straight upgrade. Do we have any tier 5 PPCs? We do. Alright, let's do this. I mean, I guess technically we could throw in some endo. Or not, because we don't have enough crits. Never mind. How about Pharaoh? No, not enough for Pharaoh either. Alright, well, let's go with the FCS missile, just for the hell of it. Might as well go with a gyro agility for the hell of it. It doesn't cost us anything. Yeah, now, I mean, mines could have updated, but the reason that I don't do that in the middle of a playthrough is because I don't want to update and then potentially have something get broken in the middle of a playthrough. So I would rather just, like, this career will run with what we have, and then at some point, whenever I get around to finishing up this career and we move on, then I'll consider updating. But for right now, we'll just stick with the mods as they exist. Put in an emotional support small laser. I mean, just to use up the weight for absolutely no reason. I mean, that's the thing, though, is this is not actually considering it overweight or underweight. Like, normally it would have the little thing that says, oh, you're under tonnage. But I think this is close enough that it's not considering it under tonnage. Mate, I haven't decided yet. I know we need a finish line at some point nebulously in the future, but I don't know what that finish line is gonna be. I imagine it'll come to me at some point. But let's go ahead and start the work. Again, this is not the heresy that I had initially envisioned, but we don't have a whole lot of options. I mean, I could do some other stuff with it, though. Here's the thing. I mean, I promised you heresy. Let's see if we can do some heresy. Let's see. And Das Gruben rolling into the chat on a Saturday. First time chatter says, how's it going? It's going good, Das Gruben. We are in an extended Mech Lab stream. We have been live for a little over 2 hours, and we have spent this entire time in the Mech Lab. I can imagine there's going to be a lot of very, very angry folks in the comment section on YouTube when this particular VOD goes live. Because I know there are definitely some folks out there that don't like the streams where we just spend all the time in the Mech Lab, but I know there's people that like it as well, so, you know, we have the money, we have the equipment. Yeah. If we were ever gonna do it, now is the time. And y'all are doing you're on your bullshit again. You're on your bullshit. So we got Urs gifting a sub to Das Gruben. So Das Gruben, welcome to the stream on a Saturday. Hopefully the weekend is treating you well. And welcome to the Cult of Bad Tactical Decisions, care of Urs. Hopefully you enjoy your stay and the Ecto Cooler. And Dark Sarah as well, gifting 5 subs to the channel. Thank you for the massive generosity and the massive chicken, Dark Sarah. And if you got a gift sub from any of these insanely generous individuals, be sure to thank them for inducting you into the cult, and again, hopefully you enjoy your stay. YouTuber nerds, well, that's not nice. YouTube, half the folks in this channel right now probably came from YouTube at some point, so, you know, but I get it. But yeah, this is the Mech Bay stream. That's what this is. But let's do some medium pulse lasers. Again, I promised you heresy, so by God, I'm gonna deliver. Let me see. Oh, you know what we could do? Since we're already using the XL engine. Let's really get heretical up in this piece. Let me think. We can make this work. We can make this work, chat. Oh, weapon compensators. What do these do again? Oh, this is only for ballistics. Alright, I was thinking we could use them for the medium pulse lasers. But we do this, right? Stay with me. Alright, what do we think about this? I mean, after all, the Hatamoto is basically just a refit of a charger, so it makes sense that we would put the biggest engine we possibly can in it. Do we really need this many double heat sinks for medium pulse lasers, though, is my question. Like, if we were using PPCs, I would absolutely think so. But with it only being medium pulse lasers, do we really need this many double heat sinks? Yes, everybody says yes. Okay, alright. You can alpha strike 4 times in a row. Oh, you know I will. Alright, this is a little more heretical, chat. This is a little more my speed. So let's go with it. And less than 1 million C bills to make this this hideous machine of reality. Alright, now that is a lot of mechs, chat. That is a lot of work in the mech bay. And speaking of the YouTube folks and all the other people that are gonna be all but hurt because I haven't blown anything up, let's go ahead and hit the home screen. And let's start fast forwarding through the timeline so that we can get all this work done. And then we'll actually get around to blowing some stuff up. Now, this Victor 9B, we've gone ahead and pulled out everything useful. So we will go ahead and sell it. Let me see. What else has finished work? Alright, the Battle Master, the Melee Battle Master has finished work. I'm gonna go ahead and drop that in cold storage. Again, so that we can just try to get some mechs out of the mech bay. Alright, back to the timeline. Let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit more. Doing some more refits. Alright, let's go ahead and close that down again. The Basilisk, we have gone ahead and stripped, so we will throw that in here. Put it in cold storage. This Atlas has been fixed up, so it is ready to go. I think we'll just drop that in cold storage as well. We've got this Marauder is now back in one piece. We'll get that out of here. The Hatamoto is fixed up, so let's put that up here because I want to do some upgrades for it. Let me see. Alright. Back to the timeline. Back to the timeline. Don't ever skimp on your coolers. Agreed. Agreed. I mean, I can always take the jacket off if it gets a little too spicy. But we'll keep the jacket on for now. We'll keep it on for now. Surprising no annihilators. Yeah, we haven't come across any yet. Are you going to change the colors or keep the samurai look? I do intend to change the colors, but I'm not going to change the paint job. I'm just going to change the actual colors of the paint job. So speaking of, let's get in here. And I think the change that I'm going to make is going to be very, very basic. And we're just going to do this. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. Let's try this. Needs to be a little deeper, right? Land of the Rising Sun and all that. Red and gold. What do we think? Better? I mean, again, I want it to be bright. I want them to see me coming. Give me racks or give me death, Kira Asada says. I agree. We have not come across any racks yet. I don't know if yet another mods actually even add them. But if they do, we will absolutely be using them when we get our hands on some. Might just be a little too early in the timeline. But let's go ahead and do that. Alright, you know what? You know what? See, this is... I don't like this particular brand of shader because... like... the yellow, when it's pure yellow, actually has kind of a green tint to it, and I don't like that. So there we go. We made it a little brighter. I mean, honestly, that's kind of Iron Man. We got a little Iron Man thing going on. There we go. Nice and bright. That's what we'll go with. Oh, I forgot. We gotta name this thing. And let me see, we gotta do this. There we go. And again, we are gonna apply some upgrades to this thing. And then once the Marauder 2 is fixed up, that's when we will actually put a new paint on this and give it a name. What about white and red? That would be far too close to the default curated colors, and I don't want us to be associated with the Draconis Combine. I mean, we may be driving one of their mechs, and one that was specifically gifted to us by them, but I don't want anybody to get it twisted. I don't want anybody to get it twisted. Oh, name it Quado. That's actually, I like it. It's beautiful. We're gonna go with that. It's fucking perfect. And if you don't get that reference, then we can't be friends. Alright. Again, back to the timeline. Back to the timeline. So that's another Marauder fixed. That's another Battle Master. Another Battle Master. That's the King Crab. It's another Marauder. Alright. Back to the Mech Bay. So let's get these Marauders put into cold storage. The other Battle Masters are good, so we'll go ahead and leave those where they are. We're getting there. We're getting there. So that's the T-Bolt, the Zeus. We're gonna spend some money. Another T-Bolt. That's the Corsair fixed up. The Banshee fixed up. And the Marauder 2 fixed up. And we got priority transmission. And oh, this is actually the Solaris Showdown. You know what? Chet, I think this might be exactly what we needed. I was just thinking that we needed to get stuck in and start blowing some stuff up. And we have not done the Solaris Showdown DLC, so this might be the perfect opportunity. And we just got done on the timeline with all of our mechs. All of everything is put back together. So we'll go ahead, we'll dump all these linebacker mechs into cold storage. We got the Cram Squad, we got the Banshee, we got the Marauder 2. We got the Corsair, we got a lot of big, ugly mechs. Now, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I don't do this for everybody. But I do make exceptions for some of the folks with the VIP badges and the Founders badges. And I've talked about this a little bit. First, do you want this to be your personal steed? You were the one that came up with the name. We're gonna name it. Alright. Now what that means, for those of you that don't know, because we kind of did the same thing in the BTA campaign, is I like to have mechs and pilots be a pair, right? Like the pilot and the mech go together. And because of the affinity system that 330's pilot overhaul adds, that's actually a thing you can do. And the longer a pilot uses a certain mech, the better they are with it. And because Erst is both a fan of the Marauder 2 and also came up with the name for it, I'm willing to let this be his mech. His mech. In much the same way that the awesome is mine. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. You got two colors, Erst. What are they gonna be? Primary and secondary. Red and black. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? Let's see. Let's go with this. Start with the... Oh. Alright. Let's go with 6s, right? Now, that's a little too gray. That's a little too gray. Let's try that. And then... do a good deep red. Or we could go bright red. Let's see what it looks like with the bright red on it. I mean, the bright red definitely stands out, but it's definitely an accent color. Unfortunately, I think we have to reverse the colors here a little bit. So we'll do that. And then something like that. So which do you prefer? You prefer red primary, black secondary? Or black primary, red secondary? I honestly prefer it this way because you can see more of the detail. Make the red a bit darker. Alright, let's go with... how about that? Or do we want to go even darker than that? Alright. He approves. Now the last thing we need to do, and again, I promised I was going to do this, is we need to put some upgrades on this thing. Because it's going to be running very, very hot. So we need to do as much as we can to reduce that. So first and foremost, let's see. We want... well, I mean, we want energy damage. We want well, let's go with... more heat dissipation. Less energy heat. More heat capacity. And then we got 2 more slots left. And I think 5% more weapon damage. So we're going to be hitting harder and we're going to be doing better on our cooling. I mean, we could go with structure. So we could drop the 5% weapon damage and instead take 10% internal structure. Vince, it's time to head out. It's D&D. Well, good luck, Vin. Hopefully you have good times at the D&D. Have a good time. And hopefully the rest of the weekend treats you well. If we do not see you before the end of the stream, I hope that the games go well and that you guys have an outstanding time. And as always, thanks for hanging out. Again, thanks for spending a little bit of time with us here in the Mech Bay, as we still have not left the Mech Bay or the hangar just yet. But as always, we're always glad to have you. Glad that you could stay with us for a little while. Alright, let's go ahead and start the work. God, look at how expensive that is. But it's worth it. It is worth it. Ow, well, shit. It's too late now, Urs. I already locked it in. I do want to upgrade the Hatamoto as well. But I also kind of want to update the Corsair. Upgrade it a little bit. Like, I want to upgrade a lot of things. God, look at it's ugly. Like, the Banshee is so ugly anyway, but then when you put a bunch of light rifles in it, it's even uglier. I love it. It's beautiful. All right, let's put a couple upgrades in this puppy. Wow, she's actually got 8 upgrade slots. I think we do need some internal structure on this one as well, because the arms are pretty weak in terms of armor. And we are running missiles and pulse lasers. So, what are we gonna do for that? We want... I mean, more energy damage is gonna be good in general. More heat dissipation is gonna be good. Less energy heat. Then we got 2 slots left, so... what happens if we do shorter burn time on pulse lasers? How does that... like, how much of an improvement is that, actually? And Hell's Razor rolling in, saying good evening, Maria and chat. Well, good evening, Hell's Razor. Good to see you. Glad to have you. Hopefully the weekend is treating you well. And Ruina Star as well, coming into the chat on a Saturday. As always, glad to see you back. Glad you could join us. And hopefully, if the weekend is not working out for you, then I hope it will be a little better now that you guys are here. So welcome. Welcome to the stream on a Saturday. And welcome to the Mech Bay Heresy stream. Or that's what it's been so far. Aerodynamic hull and potent warheads. Alright, we could do that. Extra range and velocity. And potent warheads for extra missile damage. We can absolutely do that. Alright. Well, there we go. That's another 3 million down the drain, but you know what? Hopefully it'll be worth it. I think we've already done upgrades on the Awesome. We have. Well, we could do more upgrades. Yeah, we definitely want to do additional upgrades. Because we didn't have a whole lot of upgrades at the time. And now we do. So of course we're going to put in extra energy damage. It's a PPCX boat. Of course we're going to do extra damage. And then the question is, do we do some upgrades for the king crab? Yeah, I wish we had the pretty baby, but we have not come out on top with that yet. So we're basically running autocannons and SRMs on this. Ballistic upgrades. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me see. So we want extra ballistic range and velocity. We want extra ballistic damage. Oh, actually, we got the level 2 on this one. So I'll go ahead and put that one in. Let me see. We want... Where is the potent warheads? We want aerodynamic hull for the SRMs. We don't really have an issue with heat on this thing, so I don't think that's something that we need to worry about. We could put in some turn speed for this. I mean, the King Crab is pretty agile for a 100-ton mech. Then again, we could do that. We could do that. Tighten up our groupings. Tighten up our groupings just a little bit. You know what? Now. Flat 5% additional damage is hard to pass up. There we go. So now it is indeed the kingest of crabs. Alright, I think we've spent enough money, chat. So for those of you that don't know, For those of you that don't know, we started this stream with 130 million C-bills. Well, 127 million C-bills. We're down to 63 million, and we have not done a single mission. I think it's time we change that. So, as previously discussed, we're going to do the priority transmission, and I think we're going to get stuck into the Solaris Showdown DLC. However, before we get to the 3-hour mark, and just so that we can, you know, focus down and actually get started on some business here, I'm going to go ahead and take a BRB a little bit early today, chat, because I do need to use the restroom. So we're going to go ahead and take a BRB a little bit early. And as promised, Arpria, you did in fact miss most of the Mech Bay Heresy, but that's okay. That's okay. You can always go back and watch the VOD to see the last almost 3 hours of us messing around.